I'm Tim Malloy with the Civic Association, working very closely now with the town of Palm Beach for your latest report. It's March 30th. It is a Monday. There are 243 reported cases of COVID-19 in Palm Beach County. There have been 8 people who have succumbed to it. There are now 10 cases in the town of Palm Beach. 1 person has died. At the bottom of this newscast we're doing now, this video will be a long printed version of what the town's latest report is. It's important. They deal with condo living, keeping the roads safe, the lake trail, updates on all that, which is of great concern to all of you. So right now, let's go to reporter Wendy Rutledge with a breakdown there.
Tim, we did know that with increased testing, we would see higher numbers, and so we are. In response, the town has issued a couple of new advisories in their update today. First of all, apparently some residents have observed that construction workers are really not adhering to the 6-foot social distancing rules. So the town is now saying to construction companies, please get your workers to adhere to those 6-foot social distancing separations, or we may have to shut your job down until after the COVID-19 outbreak passes. Also, a little bit of change of pace going to come to the dwellers of condominiums on Palm Beach. The town has just ordered that all condominium swimming pools must now be closed. That is a bitter pill to swallow, but they apparently believe that this is what we have to do to flatten the curve. But we do have a little bit of really good sort of news to share with you, and it comes out of the Mandel Recreation Center. They have issued a newsletter called Boredom Busters, and it is so clever and so creative. Some great ideas, some recipes, videos, activities you can do with your children, just some really, really wonderful ideas to kind of brighten up your day while you're at home. So, leaving you on a bit of good news. Tim?
As I said, there has been 1 death in Palm Beach, a businesswoman who came here from France, and it really hit home with a couple of people, including a local realtor who has this story.
Real estate broker and lifelong resident Dragana Connaughton is dismayed at the lack of social distancing she's seeing on the island, and that's because she's seen the danger of the virus firsthand. 3 weeks ago, she said she attended a business meeting with Carol Brookins and several others. Brookins, who had just arrived from Paris, was wearing a mask and gloves. It should be emphasized that after a 2-week quarantine, Connaughton and the others at the meeting are virus-free. But when the tragic outcome came, Dragana became an advocate for awareness.
I think the most important thing I would like to say is that I had attended a meeting, and unbeknownst to me, I knew that she had just arrived back from Paris, but 8 of us were in a room for 2 hours with her, and we were very surprised to learn the following week that she had tested positive for the coronavirus and had been rushed by ambulance to JFK Hospital. A week later, we had learned that she had died. It really hit so close to home to really understand how dangerous this virus is. And when I watch the young people here and just people in general not social distancing, it's very frightening because this is very real. People really have to be disciplined, listen to the governor's orders, stay separate, and if everyone just paid attention for the next month and stayed home, maybe we can kick this or just have it subside, because we will all be affected and we'll know someone that will die from this if we're not careful.
How to keep people safe and not let them go stir crazy. They're very confined these days, a lot of claustrophobia and anxiety on the part of just about everybody who lives in this town. Those are the abiding issues facing the town council, the police, and fire rescue every day. Maggie Zeidman, as you know, town councilwoman, uniquely qualified to talk about the medical side of this because she was head of nursing at Lenox Hill Hospital in New York, and of course is a councilwoman who knows what's going on with the government. So every day we go to Maggie, and this is the time to do it.
Good afternoon. It's Monday afternoon, and we had quite a busy weekend. It was noisy, I know. I was out there, out and about as you were. Or maybe you were staying home, which is what you really should be doing. But of course, we need to get out. And I think that's what went on this weekend, too. People from West Palm or from wherever just felt that they needed to get out. And so, yes, we heard motorcycles. We saw lots of people driving around in cars. And by the way, that's okay. You can do that, too. But what we do need to do, and what we have had and what we need to continue to think about, is why we're doing all this. Why are we staying home? We're staying home so that we don't transmit a virus. so that we don't get the virus and then transmit it. It's estimated that every person who gets the virus will now transmit it to 2 to 4 more people. We have had a doubling of cases just since last week, since the 26th in the state of Florida. We've had a doubling of cases in our county. So we need to really take this very seriously, and I know that you are. I see that. It's very quiet here. It's just that on the weekend it got kind of busy. The lake trail seemed pretty quiet both times that Mark and I were on it. It seemed that people were observing the rules. It does take time for people to know what the rules are, but there were signs up. The police, I think, had done a great job. There were also issues over the weekend with the beaches. There were people gathering on the beaches. I do know that there were tickets and warnings given out. So once again, we are not allowed to gather in groups of more than 10, but our beaches are actually closed. The beaches are closed, and we do have private beaches, but if you go west of the waterline, etc., it goes on. But basically, the governor said that the beaches are closed, and they did that for a reason. Even though we're using common sense about the beaches, if you see a couple walking and there's a great distance between that couple and another couple, we may allow that for a while until everyone gets used to it. But essentially, we're trying to keep everyone at home. That's where you will actually be the safest. And the other thing that I want to talk about today are young people coming down from New York, coming from different areas. The requirement is, and we've said this before, but you really have to heed this warning. Look, the requirement just is what it is. You are mandated to quarantine, to self-isolate for 14 days. And that means if you come here, grandchildren or children, you have to be in a place where you can actually make that happen. So maybe it's a guest house, maybe it's a wing of a house or a part of a house that you stay in. But you cannot be around people my age. You just can't, because you can be a carrier of the coronavirus and you can give it to us and we can actually die from it. So I can't stress that enough. It's been stressed by our governor. It's a mandate from the governor. We've said it here in the town over and over again. Our town manager has brought it up. And you really need to pay attention to it. And what does it mean? It means you can't be around us. That's what it means. You can't share utensils, plates. You can't share glasses. No, you cannot go to Publix. No, you cannot walk on the lake trail. You have to stay home for 14 days. And I have a nephew who is driving south last night, not to Palm Beach. And he's well aware that when he gets to his girlfriend's home, he will have to self-isolate for 14 days. And she's with him. So that'll work out okay for them, I think. But it's very important that we maintain these practices. They're put in place for a reason. It's not that anyone's being difficult. You just need to do it. So please, young people, people coming from New York, people coming from areas where there's high incidence, this is what you're being required to do. It helps. It's most helpful, and it means that we're not going to get sick. And you won't have to feel terrible about making us sick. I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I really do miss my grandchildren. And our son and grandchildren and our daughter-in-law, Laura, would have loved to have come down here during this time. And I would have loved to have had them. But it's just not a good idea. So for the same reason, they are in Boston, in a higher area of where there's a higher incidence of COVID-19. So anyway, I just wanted to make mention of that again because it is extremely important, and I know that there have been cases where we're not really going by the rules. So we have to do that. The other question that I get asked is, what about us? We've been isolating ourselves now for 14 days. Can we get together with our friends? No. You don't know where your friends have been. You don't know if they have touched the buttons on the bank to get the money out. You don't know how many times they've been to Publix. You don't know whether they washed their hands when they came back from Publix. You don't know what's going on. So it's best that as difficult it is, it is best that we all maintain our distance. Social distancing of 6 feet. is what's required of us. And you have to be very careful with what you're planning to do. And I know that it is getting to be very difficult, and it will be difficult as we go forward. The Mandel Recreation Center under Carolyn Stone and Mark Bresnahan have put out a very good, it's a kind of a flyer, you can get it online, and it tells you things that you can do during this period of time where we are away from each other. So I wish you the very best. Stay home, stay safe, shelter in place. They all mean the same thing. Please take it seriously. Please do it. Do it as much as you can, as often as you can. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Wash off surfaces. Sneezing, coughing into a Kleenex or your elbow. Do it. So thank you, and I'll see you toward the end of the week. Thanks very much. Be safe, be well.
I'm Tim Malloy. Updates as we get them from the town. We refresh our website repeatedly through the day whenever something new comes across, but we'll be here tomorrow for sure. Again, we advise you to scroll down at the end of this and you can read a lengthy report by the town that was just brought out, so you need to know what's that information. Be well, be safe, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.